right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Ms. Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5, and Robbie Alampay of One News. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
If it's okay with you, let's go straight na. Diretso na.
Diretso na.
Okay. Sige. Nagigigil na kayo. Sige. So, joining us tonight is Deputy Speaker and Cabinet Sur, 2nd District Congressman LRay Villafuerte. Joins us again in the Chiefs. Good evening, Congressman. Thank you again for joining us.
It's always a pleasure to, an honor to be guest here.
Good evening.
Okay. Sir, una-una, help us understand po what happened last night and what happened this afternoon. When the lower chamber voted in favor of Speaker Cayetano this afternoon, does that mean yung 1521 deal has now been thrown out the window, or will there still be a turnover this year?
Well, I was there last night in Malacanang. Wala namang date na sinabi October 14. The Speaker, Lord Velasco, and the President with Senator Bongo had a long chat. But prior to that, I was there with my fellow congressmen. We were allowed to speak and freely. Ang unang sinabi ni Presidente, he wished and hoped that we will honor the term sharing. So everybody naman agreed, sir, we will honor the term sharing. It's an agreement. Even Speaker Alan says, we will honor it. I will resign anytime. However, sabi ni Speaker Alan, sir, I speak for myself. I don't know the sentiment of the majority. So si Congressman Marcoleta, Deputy Speaker Abu and me spoke. Sabi namin, all-time high ang Congress. We delivered all the SONA promises. Lord Velasco was never there when we needed him. Open discussion, matter of fact. And bottom line, sir, we appeal that you let Congress decide among ourselves who our leader, who we want to lead. We want Speaker Alan Cayetano to lead. We know that there was a term sharing agreement forged 15 months ago. However, 15 months ago, there was no COVID. We're fighting a war against COVID. It's not good to change the generals, lieutenants at this time. He listened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
sir, if I may...
after a while, sir, sabi niya, kausapin namin si Lord, si Speaker, at si Bongo.
Yes, sir. If I may break in, sir. Kasi yung botohan nga kanina, well, the Speaker offered nga to resign, and then the Chamber voted to have him retained. Now, with that offer to resign kanina, yun na ba yung sinasabi niya kagabi na he is willing to resign? Therefore, with the vote kanina, ibig bang sabihin niyan, wala na palitan?
No, siguro the background. So nag-usap sila ni Congressman Lord, Speaker Alan, Bongo, and Senator Bong and the President. They talked for around 20 minutes. After that, the Speaker went out and Lord went out. Sabi ni Speaker, let's go to a place in Taguig and I will tell you what happened. But the agreement, the gentleman's agreement, sabi ni Presidente, whatever we agreed upon, sabi niya, kay Lord, kay Speaker, let Alan say it publicly. Ang nangyari tomorrow, which is today. Ang nangyari 2 minutes pa lang kakalabas namin, nagkaroon na ng breaking news. The new Speaker is Lord Velasco, October 14, na wala naman mention of October 14. So if you will see last night, the whole night, we honored the gentleman's agreement. None of Speaker's supporters issued a statement. And just to prove, I think Speaker Alan decided today, kung gusto mo, Lord, ikaw na mag-speaker, di ngayon na, mag-resign na ako. But the overwhelming majority voted, no, we don't want Speaker Alan to resign. So very clearly, several times already, twice, we showed that Speaker Alan has the trust and confidence of its members. But the breaking news now is Harry Roque spoke a few hours ago and said he will not, Malacanang will not anymore interfere in the affairs of the speakership. So sana they just let congressmen decide.
Congressman, no. Okay, Congressman, pasensya na po kung medyo dense ako. Hindi ko talaga mag-gets kung ano yung bottom line ngayon. Thank you for the blow-by-blow. But bottom line, will there be a change of speakership or within this year or with the vote today, and with what you just quoted from Malacanang, ang attitude niyo po ba is wala na, binalik na sa amin yung, it's our move now and we made our move, we voted, we voted in confidence, gave our confidence to Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano. Therefore, lahat na nangyari kagabi not counted anymore?
Well, before the Malacanang meeting, di ba, sabi ng ni Presidente, I hope that everyone honors the term sharing. However, if Lord does not have the numbers, he cannot do anything. So, even if Lord is endorsed by Malacanang and the fact that we really want to follow the agreement, paano kung majority do not want him to be speaker? So he can be speaker tomorrow and the next day voted out. Bottom line is Lord has to earn the respect of his peers. He has to earn my respect. How can I trust him to be speaker if he does not even try, 'di ba, to earn our respect, my respect? I'm the leader of the Nationalista Party contingent representing 51 congressmen.
Let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase the question just to touch on one particular aspect, if you don't mind. Are you therefore also saying, no, we are free to ignore the president?
No, we're not defying the president. He's our party leader. But Speaker Alan was endorsed in the term sharing, but he earned the trust and confidence of his peers. Kay Martin Romualdez, former foe, sa speakership, they're best of friends, they work together. So why did not happen with Congressman Lord Velasco the last 15 months? Why doesn't Lord Velasco try to reach out to us in the next 2 days, 3 days, until October 14, as he says? Why does he keep saying that, inventing things, this and that? The agreement was walang palitan ng chairmanship. Then last night, he announced the legislative franchise, appropriation, good government, public accounts will be changed. Then they issued a statement na wala na naman. I mean, we know for a fact that they will change.
Congressman,
Sandali. Parang in sequence lang, ha? Okay, so you were there initially, pero while you were there, the president did not really say, let's stick with a gentleman's agreement, correct? So in short, sinabi lang yon di umano nung sila-sila na lang. Tama ba? Tama ba, Kong? So, is that correct? Because
Well,
I don't know, because kumbaga, we don't know right now whether it's Lord Alan Velasco who is misinterpreting or whether it's the speaker who's misinterpreting the preferences of the president.
Well, as mentioned earlier, the president hopes to honor, but if the majority does not like Lord, he cannot do anything. That's a statement now that congressmen should decide. When the president said he hopes the term sharing is honored, we respect him, and I told him, sir, we'll follow you. However, we appeal to you. He did not say naman, no, follow this na lang. When we were appealing naman, he was listening and he was not commenting and he was nodding. And we thank the president for having an open mind and heart in listening to us, because he could have just said, guys, just to settle this, eto na, and I thank you, please support. Wala naman pong malinaw. And I clearly stated when I spoke, sir, we will follow you, we will not defy you. But,
So in short, you're saying that there was no order from the president to honor the gentleman's agreement, that it's just the camp of Lord Alan Velasco who's interpreting it that way. Is that in effect what you're saying?
well, may term sharing, but times have changed, sentiments have changed. Deputy Speaker Marcoleta even quoted a Bible verse that even the Lord in the Bible decided and made a different decision afterwards. I cannot remember the exact verse. So things can change, and the president naman was fortunate to be open-minded about it. Bottom line, ganito lang, bottom line, Lord has to be elected.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's fine.
linawin ko lang, ha? Linawin ko lang. Nag-commit ba si Speaker Alan Peter? Kasi yan ang magulo ngayon. Was there any commitment? Kasi yung pagkakaintindi ng mga tao kagabi, o sige, may term sharing. Yung term sharing, yung original term sharing, is supposed to end on October 13, di ba? Turnover na October 14. Kaya lumabas ang ganyan mga istorya. October 14, we have a new speaker. Malinaw ba kagabi na nag-commit si Speaker Alan na ita-turn over ko sa October 14 kay Congressman Velasco yung speakership? Malinaw ba yon, or there was no commitment, or malinaw ba na hindi na i-honor si term sharing agreement?
Before I will answer that clearly, no. Pero wala naman October 14 kasi Speaker assumed July 22 eh. So kung bibilangan natin yung 15 months, October 22. Eh si Lord, sinasabi niya September. Ngayon, October 14, no? So, doon pa lang, mali ang mathematics ni Congressman Lord. He should have computed exactly, no? In a direct answer to your question, sabi ni Speaker, Mr. President, I will resign anytime. I will honor the agreement. Even if you ask me to resign as congressman just to prove my loyalty, I have a man of my word. I will do it. However, I cannot commit the sentiments, the votes of the members of Congress. And he was honest. He was fair. And the president
but sir, if you don't mind, there seems to be either you're resigning or you're not. Diba? What does the vote of the majority have to do with it? If you're offering to resign, then resign. Para when you say that willing naman ako mag-resign pero pakinggan natin yung boto nila. That's a very big but.
No, nag-resign nga siya today, earlier than October 14 and earlier than end of October. He resigned. He resigned. He was a gentleman. He honored the agreement. He resigned. But and
then he fell back on the vote of Congress. I mean, that's exactly what he said would happen. That I will offer to resign, pero ang susundin ko yung boto ng Congress. That's not an offer of resignation.
No, he didn't say he will follow the votes of Congress. He said he cannot control the votes, and we voted. And I don't think he will. Hindi niya po babaliwalain yung boto ng congressman. Malino kasi this is the clear, no. The speaker will honor the agreement. Nag-resign siya. Pero one thing is clear, ayaw ng majority kay Lord Velasco. I think let's focus on that. It's not anymore a question of competence, question of character now. Ayaw namin kay Congressman Velasco.
Si Congressman Atienza, sabi niya, bakit daw naging ganun kalaki yung vote? 111 lang daw yung nabilang niya na participant. Tapos yung iba sa kanila, yung iba daw sa kanila, ang vote nila is to keep Alan Peter as speaker only until October 14. And yun daw ang gusto nila. Hindi naman nila sinasabi na ituloy-tuloy muna hanggang the end of the term. Kundi,
gusto nila magbotohan kami araw-araw, di ba?
So it's possible na magbobotohan ulit.
It's possible anytime with or without an agreement. Anybody can declare the position vacant. That's the challenge to Lord Velasco. If he has the numbers, why don't he show his numbers tomorrow? On Monday, why doesn't he call for Why doesn't he declare the position vacant? I mean,
Congressman, Congressman clearly in many episodes and history has taught us that it is always a matter of numbers. But as you pointed out, it is also a matter of character. You're asking, what do we now know of the character of Lord Alan Velasco? But for the public who goes back to square one on this story, here's the question of it. What does he say about the character of our congressman? When the most basic start to the story was, there was a quote-unquote gentleman's agreement. No qualifications, no ifs, no buts. May usapan yung dalawa. And then all of a sudden, in the past weeks, in the past months, biglang labasan, but only if. And people could see Alan Peter Cayetano and his allies starting to back down, step by step, out of a gentleman's agreement. So the question of the public is, what does this say about the character of our legislators?
Well, ako, you can question my character. Ayoko kay Lord Velasco. So question me for not believing in him. I respect you. For second, who?
No. But that's not the question. We're not questioning.
Last night there was a gentleman's agreement. Sabi ng presidente, Lord, let Speaker Alan announce what we talked about. Who broke the agreement? Then sabi, walang palitan ng chairmanship. Si Lord Velasco mismo, as the president, can I change the appropriations committee chairman? Wala naman sa usapan yun . Sino nag-attempt ng kudeta? Sabi nila, hindi raw totoo. But this all boils down to, ano ba nangyayari? Then, we talk about numbers. We have numbers. Nagpapirma kami. Today, nagbotohan. Nominal voting. Kina-question yung, we have signatures. We can show it. They can always question it. Why don't they have a vote on Monday? And we will accept if they have the majority. Wala naman choice ang speaker kung may numbers eh. He can step down anytime.
Sir, just to be clear, sir, just to be clear, so as far as the speaker's cap is concerned, tapos na ang usapan, nag-resign na yung speaker, pero he was given another vote of confidence by the majority. So there is no more need to change the leadership anytime soon or anytime within the year.
Well, ang importante kasi mapasa ang budget. And one thing we want to tell the media is, Lord, promise to the president in front of all the congressmen and the president, Senator Bongo, he said, if I'm speaker, I will pass the budget as it is. Oh, so, maniniwala ba kayo sa kanya? Well, never in the history na pasayan as it is. Saka, bakit pa kami nagde-deliberate? Ano na namin, ano pa yan, moro-moro pala yan. What's the constitutional mandate of congressmen pala, of the power of the purse? Sabi niya, pasa na namin yan, as it is. So, yung ibang congressman nagalit. Paano naman yung mga priorities ng iba't ibang lugar? What about priorities, for example, increasing the budget for health, education? He promised that. You should ask him that. Did you promise this? Can you do it?
Okay. What is the worst case scenario now as you're hearing the budget and at the same time you're having to deal with this dilemma as to whether Speaker Cayetano is going to stay on or some disruption is going to happen, or even if the president steps in again and says, just honor it. What is the worst case scenario if indeed Lord Alan Velasco steps in as Speaker?
I'll give you a background in the meeting. The president to ask 3 times kay Velasco, "Oh Lord, tapusin na natin yung budget for love of God para sa bansa to. December ka na mag-take over." Sabi niya, Speaker Alan, payag ka ba tapusin mo yung budget? Yes sir, December, yes. Anong sabi ni Lord? Sir, wag na po. So, his ambition nauna po ang ambisyon niya over the country. Saan ka nakakita na isang congressman, pinakiusapan ng presidente na December ka na, tapusin yung budget, and he said no. Diba? And he keep insisting, sir, may palabra de alor, palabra de honor. Yeah, but pinakiusapan ka na ng presidente for love of country, para sa bayan. You should ask him that. Did President Duterte ask you to assume December? Yes. Did he say no? Yeah, he said, wag na. He said, bag December na, baka mawala na ako suporta. Wala ka naman suporta ngayon eh. At least you have 3 months to gain confidence, di ba? I think you should ask him that. Saan ka nakita ng congressman na gusto maging speaker, dinideny po ang Pangulo?
That's only 3 months eh. Bakit hindi na lang para matapos na? I-honor na lang yung original agreement. That's only
budget
it's actually less than 3 months.
The budget here is at stake. Tignan mo yung nangyari kay Speaker Alvarez, Speaker GMA. Everybody wanted to pass the budget. Because of the transition, naipit po ang budget, kawawang bansa. We don't want that to happen again. Siyempre, ang supporters ni Lord, maghihingi ng posisyon yan, magkakaroon ng shake, magpapalitan yan in the middle of the budget season. So maraming magagalit. So kawawa naman yung budget. And you ask me why?
Yeah.
You ask me why, ma'am? You ask Lord Velasco, did he read the budget? Can you trust him in the budget now?
Yeah. You were saying hindi man lang kayo nilalapitan ni Lord Velasco. Ano kaya pwede niyang gawin to win you over? Kung sakasakali, ano yung bagay na yun yung sinasabi niyo.
Number one, ma'am, magpakita siya and magparinig siya sa amin. Ano ba ang stand niya sa budget? 2021 budget po ang pinag-uusapan. Ano bang priorities niya? Ano bang gusto niyang gawin? Sabi niya, he will pass it as it is. For me, I already have no respect for his position. Then he says, papasa niya as is. So I ask him, wala ka bang plano? Wala ka bang advocacy? I mean, we are in a pandemic now. The children don't have distance learning modules, tablets. Don't you want to fund them about this? Magkakaroon na ng election sa 2022, sabi ng COMELEC, we need new machines. Don't you want to fund them? Don't you want to fund vaccines in the budget? May mga provisions doon.
Yeah, but Congressman, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask what else was happening in Congress? I completely see your point. We have a quote-unquote, a leader in waiting in Lord Alan Velasco. Your charge is masyado siyang prente, masyadong kampante. But on the other hand, this 1521 clock was put before the entire Congress. All the leaders, all of you, all the senior leaders knew that there was an October reckoning or an October turnover. Did nobody, I mean, okay, we get your point about Lord Alan Velasco, but what about the leadership of Alan Peter Cayetano? What about the leadership and the statesman in Alan Peter Cayetano with months to go, knowing that we're in the middle of a pandemic? In the meantime, we have an agreement to turn over sometime in October. We better start preparing now. Did Alan Peter Cayetano, in good faith, prepare for a turnover that he agreed to?
Yes, definitely. When he assumed speakership, he offered Lord, be the senior deputy speaker, presumptive speaker in waiting. Let's work together with Martin. Let's chart the course para may smooth transition. He said, I don't want to be deputy speaker senior. I just want to be chairman of the energy committee. Okay. Were you active in all the debates, the plenary discussions, in the budget hearings last year? You cannot say, oh, I just wanted to be silent. I mean, it's his choice. Even up to today, people are saying that, oh, the next speaker, what's his stand on the budget? What's his stand on tax measures? What's his stand on all these things? You're saying there's an agreement, yes, but it's not cast in stone. Why? Things change. If the only constant thing in this world is change. Pag sasabihin na cast in stone na yan, di na pwede yan. Si President Duterte said he will not run eh. And yet he won. He ran and he won. Things change. We have to adapt to the change.
Okay.
Diba? So, ito yan eh. I understand your point. Agreement to. But we have to adapt to the times. That agreement was agreed upon before COVID. The Congress has the highest rating ever before COVID, yung nag-survey. We delivered all on the SONA promises. The respect of the people in Congress now has elevated at an all-time high. Dati, ini-small kami ng senador, ini-small kami ng tao. Ngayon, maganda na ang rating, all because of the leadership of Speaker Alan. Now, when all these things are going positive, pabayaan na lang natin because there was an agreement. Yes, if there was an agreement and we respect Lord, yes, by all means, we will not anymore think twice. But do we transfer the steering of the ship to a captain who's not for us, who's questionable? Diba? Will you let somebody, a junior captain, drive the ship in a typhoon, in rough waters? Definitely not.
Okay, last question. What becomes of the budget if he takes over on October 14 and says, okay, we'll just pass it as it is? What could happen?
Nagmukha kaming rubber stamp Congress na wala man lang kaming input on how to improve the budget submitted to us. I mean, we have a constitutional mandate that Congress has the power of the purse. Article 6, Section 24, 25, 26 of the Constitution clearly states that. It's never happened ever in the history na we adopted something as it is.
I know. So precisely, you won't sign off on it, right? So what will happen? Are we seeing a reenacted budget, for example? Although that's impossible because it's COVID. But what can happen? That's my point, no? Because we're in the middle of liberation.
Well, I throw back the question. If there's a leadership change before the budget is approved, that's where the problem will come in. That's why the president anticipated this hanggang December na lang for love of country. Then tapos na. Wala na extension. Yun lang. Yun lang naman ang pinag-uusapan dito, di ba? Ako, I'm not after my position. I'm Deputy Speaker for Finance, but I can turn over my post to anyone he desires. Although my position is an NP allocation, but I don't need this position. I'd rather serve as Speaker with no position who I respect, di ba?
Sir, last na po, linawin ko lang po yung sinabi nyo. Yun lang naman pinag-uusapan. I mean, did you get that right? Get the budget passed. Let's get it over with. It's a very important budget for a very important year at a very important time. Tapos na. we can you are now no other conditions, no conditions about his character and so on. We are now free to take on the agreement.
Yeah, I can say I'm only the Deputy Speaker of Finance. I'm not running to be Speaker, but it's already 9 o'clock. I'm still working here, just to make sure that we work on the budget. Yun ang nakakalungkot. We've never seen Lord Velasco. I've been saying this. We should start listening. Should start showing up, being active. If he wants to be a leader, dapat we should look up to him, di ba? How can yung sinasabing lead by example is what we're asking from him. Yun lang naman, simple lang naman, di ba? Nung nandun siya sa Malacanang, yung statement nga niya, binasa pa niya sa cellphone. Parang may gumawa pa eh. Si Speaker Alan spoke from the heart. I spoke from it's in my mind, in my heart. He prepared a long statement from his phone. And, people are asking, ikaw ba gumawa niyan? I mean, these small things are being observed by fellow members of Congress. So, again, he should earn our respect. He needs the numbers. If he wants to be Speaker, he should earn it and not just want the position and not earn it.
Okay, lively discussion with the Deputy Speaker LRay Villafuerte. Sir, Mr. Congressman, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's always a
Salamat po.
pleasure.
Salamat, sir.
Salamat sa inyo.
Maraming
Thank you.
salamat po.
Pinahirapan niyo ako.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Salamat
Okay,
po.
we'll just go into a gap, so please stay with us.
Welcome back, the Chiefs. We are now in the final stage of our conversation, and joining us is Buhay Party List Congressman Lito Atienza. Congressman, welcome po to the Chiefs.
Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Mabuhay.
Hi, sir.
Sir.
Luchi, Ami, and of course, Edwin.
Sir, didiretso na ako. What's your take? We're really very eager to hear. What's your take po sa nangyari sa Malacanang kagabi, nangyari sa Kongreso ngayong araw?
Kagabi, akala ng Pangulo, nagkasundo na yung dalawa na pangatawanan nyo. Ang pangaral ng Pangulo, pangatawanan nyo yung inyong agreement. Ako testigo niya, kaya ako nakikialam na yun. I want that agreement to be fulfilled. Nagkaroon ng tawaran. When does si Cayetano stepping down? Humihingi ng full term. Sabi ni Congressman Velasco, hindi naman tama yun. 15 months sabi mo, 21 months ako na. O, pwede ba hanggang December? Hindi rin pwede. Sabi ni Presidente, ano ba talaga ang petsa ng 15 months ni Speaker Cayetano? Sinabi ni Congressman Velasco, sabi niya, October 14 po. October 14, di dapat bumaba ka na October 14. Umuo naman siya. Umuo. Kaya nagkasundo. Kaya akala namin okay na. Smooth turnover at walang magagambala. Hindi naman babaguhin ng mga committee. ang budget matatapos maybe ahead of time, and all the pending bills in Congress will be handled smoothly. Ang magpapalit lang yung speakership eh. Hindi naman kasali ang mga members dito eh. Pero ang nangyari kanina, as we all witnessed it, and to my disappointment, it's another form of breaking your word. Eh ba't kagabi pumayag ka? Kanina sinabi ni Speaker Cayetano, I agreed on October 14. But the problem is that meron na naman siya bintang kay Velasco, another issue. Naalala ko tuloy ko sabihin eh, pag gusto, may dahilan. Pag ayaw, maraming paraan. Hindi na naman matutupad. Tapos, ang hindi maganda, eh bigla siyang nagbitiw kanina. Alam naman niya, calculated niya yun. Nakahanda na si Defensor, nakahanda si LRay to reject the resignation. Ako mismo, I voted yes. Huwag kang magre-resign ngayon. Hindi yan ang usapan. You resign on October 14. That is the set date of your stepping down. You fulfill your word. Hindi yung bibiglay mo Kongreso. Bigla ka magre-resign ngayon. Hindi mabibitin ang Kongreso. Mabibitin yung budget. Mabibitin ang interest ng bayan. In effect, ang nangyari kanina, binlockmail ni Speaker Cayetano ang buong bansa at ang buong Kongreso.
Sir, linawin ko lang po kasi may mga detalye na on which Congressman LRay had his version of the story. Una sa version niya, sabi niya, walang nagbanggit na October 14. Nagulat daw sila na biglang lumabas sa social media, October 14 na turnover. Kanina po ulit nanggaling talaga ang October 14 and sino-sino ang nag-acknowledge sa October 14?
Nanggaling niya kanina sa sinabi ni Speaker Cayetano, sabi niya, nag-agree kami October 14 and I said, yes, I will step down. But the problem is, Congressman Velasco went on the air and announced it prematurely. That angered me. Kaya nagbago na naman ang salita. Nagbago na naman ang damdamin. What I'm saying is that, kagabi okay na. Pero ngayon meron naman dahilan. And I don't like the attitude na sabihin mo, magre-resign ako ngayon. Eh, pag yung manager ng kumpanya mo, bigla kang bibigla, magre-resign siya. Papayag ka ba? Tapusin mo ang trabaho mo at doon 2 weeks from now mag-resign ka. Gaya ng pangako mo. Pero ito hindi. Magre-resign ako ngayon. Eh, siyempre, ang worry ng mga members ng Congress, huwag naman. Bibiglayin natin ang ating bansa at magre-resign ng speaker. Hindi naman yan ang pinag-usapan kagabi. Let him deny that because I heard him say today, I agreed on October 14.
Congressman, so gusto lang namin malinawan. Matutuloy pa ba yung change of leadership sa House? Considering na nag-vote ngayon yon, and that's a lot of votes, 180 plus. Matutuloy pa ba? Are we looking forward to
let's clarify.
To a change of leadership within the year, man lang?
Alam nyo, kung tutuparin Speaker Cayetano yung salita niya noong July of 2019, magbibitiw siya. Kung hindi niya tutuparin, yung pinag-usapan kagabi, hindi rin niya gagawin, magagawa niya. Why not? He can do anything he wants because right now, he's in control of Congress. But my point is, do not sacrifice the institution, the credibility of Congress, and the integrity and dignity of Congress. Yan ang aking pinoproteksyonan. I am not indebted to any one of them, Cayetano or Velasco. But what I'm saying, we agreed on a term sharing, you fulfill that. That is a word of honor that you must respect and honor. Kung hindi na gagawin, eh magkakagulo-gulo kami. I'm telling you, marami ring matinong congressmen na nakikita lahat ito. Hindi naman lahat ng congressmen ni pera ang gulo. Meron ding mga matitino na nakakakita ng hidwaan hindi karapat-dapat dahil sa pagsira ng salita. Kaya ang aking pinipilit, ang aking pinaglalaban, stop din ninyo ang inyong palabra di uno. Otherwise, walang maniniwala sa inyo. I, for one, will not believe anyone speaking for or on behalf of Cayetano because obviously they cannot be trusted.
Yes, sir. Sir, yung boto niyo, sir, kanina was, I suppose, in a way, conditional na you're okay now, I support you now, but by the 14th, you have to step down. I'm wondering sa... Opo, I'm wondering po dun sa 184 who voted in favor of Speaker Cayetano kanina, would you know kung ilan o may iba pang congressmen who think like you, who voted like you, na you're okay now as Speaker, but come October 14, that's a different thing altogether?
Ed, hindi totoong 184 yung boto. That's the reason why I was not in favor of tackling that very sensitive issue via Zoom. Via Zoom, you cannot establish the quorum. Nakalagay puro sa aming computer, 111 lang ang tumugon dun sa presence on the floor or via Zoom. Bakit ang boto 184? Saan ang galing yung 73? So, the whole process is one jumbled, as far as I'm concerned, scripted, jumbled telenovela meant to give Cayetano another reason to resign. The congressmen don't want me to resign, so I'm not resigning.
Congressman.
Yes, Lucy.
Okay, let's talk about the character of Lord Alan Velasco, which if Congressman LRay alone were to assess it, talagang bagsak. He had never been in any of the budget deliberation hearings. He has never shown himself in any of the critical decisions that the Congress has had to make on bills and laws, etc. Ano pong tingin niyo ron? Is that something you would confirm or otherwise find opinionated and biased?
Lucy, I understand and I know Congressman Velasco very well. He's a gentleman, a mild-mannered, honorable man, and he promised to give Cayetano a cool rein. You will not hear anything from me for 15 months. You handle the leadership the way you would want. I will not even comment, and I will not participate in the plans and plots that you are hatching in Congress. Ginawa ng tao yun. Hindi siya nakialam. Ngayon, issue, bakit magiging issue yun? Binigyan ka nga ng pagkakataon makapamuno ng walang gumagambala sa iyo. I did not hear Velasco heckling at any point in time. When sinisira nila ang ABS, maraming damdamin na kumukuyom sa Kongreso. I did not hear Velasco meddle in that issue. My point is, Velasco keeping his word that to give Cayetano full reign and control of Congress is now being made an issue. Unfair. Because wala naman sa usapan nila yun na, halika rito, pakialaman mo kami. Sumali ka rito, bukuin mo yung mga 4 barrel namin sa budget. Wala yun eh. The point is, the gentleman kept his word and now he's waiting for the other party. Deliver your word.
Oh, well, iba naman sir yung nakikialam sa sumasali sa budget hearings or sa hearings or anything. So, are you saying in effect that he deliberately withdrew himself completely from any kind of participation as part of his compliance with the agreement na hindi siya makikialam? Parang magkaiba po yata yun, hindi ba? Because he remains a congressman and at the very least, his constituents would expect him to take part in the deliberations
It depends.
being their representative.
Lucy, it depends on how you look at things. Sa Kongreso, pag yung mga kasunduan ganyan, kinutupad ng mga lalaki. Even silently, pag nag-agree yung dalawa, dito boto natin. Pero pag nagkasundo, tinutupad. Ako, ang basa ko ron, Velasco was very careful not to even move, not even to comb his hair because baka nga gamitin dahilan. Bakit ka nagsusuklay sa harap ko? Binabastos mo ba ako? Ganun yun eh. Pag mahanap ng lusot, maraming kadahilanan. So the gentleman decided, sige na, bahala ka na 15 months. Maghihintay ako ng turn ko. I am the speaker in waiting. I am second in line. Yung mga bintang na, nagpaplano ka ng coup eh. O, yung ba fair? Di lang lumalayo yung bilang ko sila. Ayoko na makialam dahil magsalita lamang ako, nagpaplano ako. Bakit ako magpaplano ng anuman?
Pero I mean, yeah, Congressman, pero I mean, I'll follow through on Lucci's question and the points of Congressman LRay, di ba? Naiintindihan po namin na, oo nga, pero medyo kwidaw ka kasi baka ma-misinterpret ka, labo naman ng galaw mo. But as we're learning every single day, it is all about politics at the House of Representatives. You have to navigate a lot of personalities and a lot of different interests. So it's one thing to be quiet because ang nakikita mo lang yung premyo dun sa dulo. I mean, you put it that way, and I could completely understand the argument trying to be framed by Congressman LRay and the allies of Alan Peter Cayetano. Parang it's one thing for somebody to say, teka, yan na akin na yan eh. So tatahimik na lang ako, parang kesa naman magpakita na lang ako. And it's another to show that I can still navigate, I can still show my principles, I can still be heard, and I can still be present. I don't have to be, well, the way they put it, I don't have to be absent. But you swing it that way, and then, then other people start to think, baka naman may punto rin talaga sila LRay, sila yung mga allies ni Alan Peter Cayetano.
I cannot debate with LRay. I know him very well. I know his family. So therefore, whatever reasoning he gives, I take it with a grain of salt. I'm talking from my own perception. The poor fellow Velasco never plotted anything. They accused him of plotting a coup very early in this 15 months. And then they said he was plotting to oust. Why would the man do anything like that? So if he shied away, you caused him to shy away. And maybe he felt, if I do anything, if I even open my mouth, they will use it against me. Kaya, it depends on the situation, Robbie. Under normal times and dealing with sincere people who are dealing you with an even hand, you have a point. Maybe it's right. Pero if you're dealing with somebody like Speaker Cayetano, you better be careful how you handle yourself. If I were Speaker Velasco, I would have handled myself the same way. Hindi ako makikinig, bahala na kayo dyan. Lahat ng mga milagro nyo, pananagutan nyo yan. Not because of me or my mouth or anything, bahala kayo managot rito.
Let me put it in the words that LRay Velasco in effect also said. So you're saying you would have handled it. You would have you would have handled it the same way. In other words, the way he would have phrased it was, mag-aantay na lang ako. Magpapakita na lang ako sa araw ng turnover.
Yun ang usapan eh. Ang usapan, you control Congress. You do your thing. I will be an observer. Hindi naman sinabi, manggulo ka rito o magsalita ka dyan o side with the opposition or comment on my action. Yun ang masama. Kung ginawa ni Velasco yun, then he will already have been accused not only of plotting a coup, but causing dissent and division in Congress. So, masama ba yung sinabi niya? Bahala na kayo. Basta ako, aasahan ko yung salita niya. Kaya ngayon, ang aking damdamin, either di-deliver ni Speaker Cayetano yung salita niya, o managot na lamang siya pagdating ng panahon.
Well, but there was another role to play. Not necessarily yung manggulo, as you put it. Another option would have been, magpakita ka para sumuporta. I mean, we had a lot of very controversial debates. Magpakita ka, tumayo ka. There were some things that Congress was very unpopular with. I mean, magpakita ka, stand with us, kahit pa unpopular kami. Let's face it, they were both perceived and framed as pro-administration. So it wouldn't have made a difference. It's not about necessarily show up and be an oppositionist and be a rabble-rouser. He also had the option to walk amid the line and say, no, come over and at least show your face, show support. That's another way of being active.
That's your opinion, but let us respect the character of the man. Yung tao, nag-iingat. Maginoo eh. He's a gentleman. True and true. Walang makakapagsabi dyan. Si Velasco bastos, si Velasco sinungaling, si Velasco ganito. Mabuting tao yan. Pero yung kanyang kabutihan, ngayon ginagawa nating issue, hindi tama. To me, I would have handled myself in the same manner as Velasco did. Hindi ko pakinggan naman ang 15 months ni Cayetano. At hindi na nga ako pupunta sa Kongreso para huwag niyo akong pagbintangan na ako'y nagpaplano ng coup. They started this talk a long time ago, maybe 12 months ago. He is planning a coup. He is promising position. Those are all false rules. Ang sinasabi ko, lahat ito nagmula ito kay Cayetano. He was creating a scenario from the beginning of not respecting his word. Kitang-kita ko naman ito eh. So I cannot take any other argument but to say, perform your task deliver your word, and wala tayong gulo. Pag hindi mo ginawa yung commitment mo, ano man ang sabihin mo ngayon, kapintasan ko, hindi kita pakikinggan dahil lahat yan mga galing sa isang insinceridad ng isang tao. Let us be more sincere. Otherwise, we'll not get anywhere. Itong arguments na dito, itong discussion na dito, are our own perspective. But you put yourself in the shoes of Velasco, huminga ka lamang ng malalim, may plano ka na naman, ha? mahirap
Yes, sir.
pakipag-usap sa
Sir.
ayaw makisama.
Yes, sir. Sir, pero sir, moving forward, kasi as far as at least my understanding for LRay Velasco, LRay Villafuerte kanina, na parang with the speaker's resignation earlier this afternoon and the vote of confidence for him, parang moving forward na, okay na, bumitaw na siya pero binoto siya ulit. So parang solved na yan, tapos na usapan. My question is what happens next? What about Velasco's supporters in Congress? Kasi diba, the vote kanina is as good as is only as good as until somebody calls for another vote or motions for ano.
Let me correct you. What happened today does not dissolve the agreement. Does not dissolve the agreement last night. Again, agreed in front of President Duterte. Walang kinalaman yan. Yung nakita natin kanina, scripted drama para pigilin siyang mag-resign. Okay, ako mismo bumoto ko, huwag ka mag-resign. Because you are not supposed to resign today. You are supposed to resign October 14. If you were my manager in a company, I would have gotten very angry. After you commit to deliver a smooth transition, ibibitin mo ang kumpanya, ibibitin mo ang kongreso, tama ba yun? I asked for you. Kayo na mag-interpret. Yung ba nangyari kanina, tama yun?
Pero sir, in the end, sir,
that is blackmailing the country and the Philippine Congress.
Yes, sir. But in the end, sir, any change in Congress will have to be done through a vote. And if no vote is undertaken because no motion is passed or seconded or recognized by the chair, the status quo yan. So then you go back to the question, what happens next?
Kung wala talagang gagalaw, at ang Pangulo tatanggapin yung hindi pag-deliver ng salita nitong isang tao, wala talaga tayong magagawa. You cannot fight power within Congress. And if you are a congressman today, you would understand what I'm saying. But I don't want to be too divulging on people's activities. But the point is, Congress is a place where power counts heavily.
So
Speaking of power.
So you're saying, So you're saying na posibleng hindi na magkaroon ng leadership change. At posible rin na hindi na pupunta sa Malacanang si Lord Alan Velasco for intercession.
I don't know how to read people's minds. I'm only reacting on the basis of my own values and my own principles and my concern for the institution of Congress. The word of honor should be supreme above all interest.
Sa tingin niyo, since naumpisahan ko na yung tanong sa Malacanang, sa tingin niyo, does this weaken the hold of President Duterte on Congress? Kasi mukhang dalawang beses na yan Dalawang beses na rinoker na yan. Na parehong mukhang walang nangyari. So what does this say about the influence of Malacanang over this Congress?
I can only answer it from my own point of view. Kung ako si Presidente Duterte, magagalit na ako ngayong gabi. At pananagutin ko ang mga taong walang salita.
So, sir.
But sir, papalap ko lang kay Ali because that was my question also. So, I don't want to talk about values. You're very clear about sa inyo, palabra de honor, napakahalaga niyan. Let's swing the other way. Let's talk politics. We really want to pick your brain, your analysis. What does this mean for President Duterte as a player in this entire story?
I would expect him to be bothered. I am a speaker that doesn't perform his word. This is bothersome. This is worrisome. If I were him, I'd consider other options. Kung ayaw mo ng usapan, then I'll do everything I can within my power and influence to get you ousted.
I think, ako naman mas direct. Do you think that the president is actually losing his hold on his supporters in Congress? The fact that a majority of them, even basing it on the manifesto, which came out last week, and then now this vote. Do you think that it's a sign that the president is losing his influence among congressmen?
Alam nyo, maraming congressmen kanina, hindi alam yung nangyari sa Malacanang gabi. Hindi naman lahat sila insiders sa detalles na nangyari. So, binigla sila, nagre-resign yung speaker. Ayaw naman nila. Dahil maganda na ang samahan. Pero, kung alam nila ang katotohanan ng nangyari kagabi, ay naintindihan nila yung damdamin ng mga katulad ko. Dahil ako, after the meeting, I got a full narration of what transpired. So akala ko na ayos na. Smooth turnover, agreement on the date of stepping down. There was no talk about election. There was no talk about majority of the members being carried. Noong July of 2019, let me go back. Wala yan. Meron ka bang bilang? Meron ka bang boto? At that time, walang boto si Speaker Cayetano. He would have landed number 4 kung nagkatuloy ng eleksyon nun. Martin Romualdez, Alan Lord Velasco, they were both way ahead. Then, Ungab of Davao entered the race. He would have landed number 3. And Cayetano, he was not appreciated by anyone because he was also a detached personality.
Right.
Pero,
But precisely, the president...
Wala naman kaming buto ang ginawa. No, sinabi ng Pangulo, meron ng term sharing, and I'm the witness. I'll see to it that it's delivered.
Right.
Aba, edi dapat i-deliver ni Presidente yung kanyang tinestiguang agreement. Meron pa kasulatan meron kasulatan. Oh. At this point in time, Velasco has every reason to feel bad. And the President has every reason to feel slighted by all of these things.
So the president guaranteed talaga. I mean, the president said na I will make sure na matutuloy itong ano. He didn't just broker it, he even guaranteed it.
Noong July 2019, those were the words.
Yes, but sir,
it will be
yes, sir, but the statements from Malacanang today is basically the president made his sentiments known, but we will respect the numbers in Congress.
Exactly, yeah.
So what exactly was that?
I don't know. To tell you frankly, I am also watching President Duterte, how he handles this crisis, and his credibility is also at stake.
Is it reasonable?
Ano reaction ng Malacanang? Ang nagre-react naman Secretary Roque. Secretary Roque is not President Duterte. He is a spokesman of the President, but his role is limited to that. And I'd like to listen and wait for the action and reaction of the people genuinely loyal to the President, even in Congress. Maraming loyalists dyan. Mga loyal kay Duterte. Sa public, maraming loyalists kay Duterte. Sa cabinet, sa sectors, business sector, lahat. Tignan natin ang reaction ng mga loyalists ni President Duterte, whether all of these things that are happening are agreeable to them, or they will be the first ones to tell the President, you better put a stop to all of this congressional nonsense na parang naglalaro itong mga ito. Parang mga Indians going around, circling the bandwagon. Hindi maganda eh. It's disrupting. Speaker Cayetano talks about avoiding disrupting our work. I am also citing what he's doing as a disruption to our task. Dapat nagko-concentrate kami sa budget. The whole afternoon kanina, all about himself. I did this, and I did that, and I'm the greatest. Hindi maganda. I'm telling you, if you are a congressman now, thinking of higher level principle thinking, you will not agree with all of this. This is a scripted telenovela that people concocted, planned, concocted, delivered. In the process, what will happen to Congress? We will never be together and we will never be united if word of honor is broken.
But politics is also compromise. Is Lord Velasco willing to reach out to his to the supporters of Alan Peter Cayetano Kasi yun ang sinasabi nila eh. He should reach out to us. Hindi naman niya kami pinagpapapansin. Is Lord Alan Velasco willing to do that?
I cannot answer for Lord. At this point in time, I don't know how he feels even. I'm sure he's very hurt and nararamdaman niya hapdi ng pagtalikod sa salita. Ulit-ulit. And if you were in his position, you would be able to answer it. Kung ako ganito, niloloko ko, siguro magiging reaction ko.
Okay. Buhay Party List Congressman Lito Atienza. Sir, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight.
Maraming salamat din sa inyong pagsisikap. Sa inyong pagsisikap to go deeper into the truth. You will not be able to reach the truth because you are dealing with a very insincere man.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir. Ingat po.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Okay.
Galing yan sa'yo na, hindi yun galing sa'yo.
Ang daming pagpipilian na headline ni Ami para bukas. Nailatag na ba? Pwede pa sa rimat yan. Pwede pa sa rimat.
Ang tanong, mas malinaw ba ngayon o hindi o lalong gumulo?
Hindi nga. Mas magulo pa rin.
Malinaw na ang gulo-gulo.
Whether in the House or Malacanang, magulo pa rin.
Exactly, but that's a really good point, di ba? You now follow the story to Malacanang. Because really, I mean, everything, we've been saying this since last year, di ba? Everything is about 2022 elections. Everything is going to be about 2021 politics. So it's inevitable that Malacanang will have to confront a lot of questions about President Duterte and his hold on his alliance.
Maganda ding tingnan nga kung anong gagawin ng Malacanang because Malacanang actually has the power of the purse. Marami siyang pwedeng gawin by way of funding that can persuade politicians to do what the president likes. So tingnan natin kung gagawin niya. It's an election year.
Yeah. Actually, ang masarap man pa yan, yung lead up to the 14th. Kung itutuloy pa rin nila yung budget deliberations, if they're gonna follow through on whatever they've started, and make sure that they end it by then. Because if they really want this result, dapat matapos na nila yun by the 14th, which should be...
Actually, the target was supposed to be the first week of October. If they were to have hewn closely to the targets, they wouldn't even have to worry about the budget come October 14.
Yes,
which is precisely I think what Congressman Atienza was saying. Look, this was a distraction. Had we taken October turnover for granted, then we didn't have to talk about the October turnover, and we could have been concentrating all of these days on the budget.
Yeah.
And nasuspindi yung budget deliberation. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Wednesday pa lang, It's the midweek. Okay.
Okay.
Big job, ha?
Hopefully bukas, maybe si Lord Alan Velasco, if we could get Congressman Velasco on the show, we certainly would enjoy continuing this conversation.
Well, better if we have Lord Alan Velasco and Congressman Cayetano.
Congressman Cayetano.
Hindi maghaharap.
Sama mo na si President.
Masyado ka namang demanding.
Suntok sa buwan ka na. Ikaw na, suntok sa buwan ka na.
Okay, sige. Nag-overtime na tayo. Okay. Well, happy Wednesday to everybody. That will be all for this edition of the Chiefs. We hope to discuss it. We'll keep the conversation going. I'm Ed Linga for One News.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Luchi Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Robbie Alampay, and we are One News.